morning, everyone. Fabulous to have you all here. My name is Jane Nichols, and I'm the General Manager of Industry Engagement for the ISC. Before we get underway this morning, I'd just like to make an acknowledgement of country. The ISC would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I acknowledge their deep connection to land, water and culture, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. So we have quite a full agenda for you today, and before we begin, I'd just like to say how delighted we are to be able to point you to our new ISupply website. It's long overdue, but I think you'll be pleased with the result. And that is the first in a series of developments that we've undergone over this last period of time to make sure that your access and opportunity associated with ISupply is far better executed. This morning I have got Danielle Brain joining us. Danielle is our Senior Membership Advisor. She's going to take you on a walk through the new website and the application process. And then at 11:45 through to 12:15, we have Tyrell Momberg, who is our Principal Technical Advisor. And Ty will talk to you very particularly on how you align your products or services to our credits in the rating system. I'd really like to encourage you to feel that this is very much if you like, a working session. It's quite informal and there'll be plenty of time at the end for Q&A. If we can't answer a question for you on the day, then we will, this morning, then we'll certainly get back to you very quickly soon after. The other thing I'd just like to point to is that this is our first development, and we have coming online very shortly an ISupply video, which will help you in between times if you're struggling with any aspect of what you're doing in terms of your entry. And we are also in the process of developing training for suppliers, which will be run through our Learning and Development department, and that will be launched. We're working toward a June deadline for that. So lots happening, and let's get this underway. So if I could introduce now Danielle to speak with you.
Kia ora and welcome everyone. Thank you for coming along today. I am very excited to take you through our new ISupply website and application process. As you know, the key driver for your decision to become an iSupplier is because it provides you with a unique opportunity to market your products and services to projects that have requirements through the IS rating scheme. The iSupply directory gives procurers access to suppliers that can help their project or asset achieve sustainability outcomes rewarded under the IS rating scheme. IS ratings are mandated by almost all Australian state government agencies, as well as a number of local governments and other infrastructure delivery agencies. That means that your product and service will be in front of some of the largest infrastructure projects across New Zealand and Australia. Those undertaking a rating can use the iSupply directory to assist them in identifying products and services which will help them achieve some of the sustainability requirements of the IS rating scheme. Premium members receive free and unlimited listings. Standard members receive one free listing, and additional listings are priced at $800 plus GST. For non-members or iSupply subscriber only, pricing is from $1,575 plus GST, and there are discounts for 2 or more listings as per this table here. For full pricing information, you can find this on our website. We are very excited to announce that our new and improved iSupply website has gone live. The directory links products and services to IS credits, helping procurers identify suppliers that can meet their project requirements. The key benefit of the changes that we have made provides procurers with a much more functional and simple way to search for your products and services. Our new search function offers the ability to search by product or service, location, rating type, and credit. As most of you will know, there are currently 3 rating tools: ISV 1.2, 2.0, and 2.1. iSuppliers are listed alphabetically in a clean new format. I'd encourage you to take a look through our new ISupply website to gain some inspiration for your new iSupply listings. As you can see here, the images are quite impactful, so we do suggest that you think about this for your current or new listings. We will send you a link to our new site following this session. In addition to the directory listings, you will also have your own iSupplier profile. On this profile, you can promote your company website, logo, and your iSupply listings, an organization bio, and your iSupply listings. These are excerpts from a great example of an iSupplier listing. Surtex have all the correct contact information. It links to their company website, their organization profile, and different images for each of the listings. It is important that once your listing goes live, that you check that all of the content is accurate. In addition to the directory listings, you will also have your own profile. Oh, sorry, apologies. Let me just, sorry, Jane. All right, back on track now. Another fantastic feature of our new site is our online application, which I'll take you through now. You'll enter your basic organisation details, input your product or service name, a description of your product or service, and the sustainability benefits. You'll need to provide evidence of all links to projects and claimed benefits to substantiate your claims. You'll then tick which rating tool your product links to from IS version 1.2, 2.0 or 2.1. The areas within Australia and New Zealand that your product or service is available, and the credits that your product or service links to. You will have received our latest iSupply credit chart this week, which outlines the credits and their intent. You are required to tick a minimum of 1 credit and a maximum of 10 credits for any one product or service. However, you must clearly detail how your product or service supports the selected credit. Tyrell will be taking you through how to apply the iSupply credits to your product or service. The final process of the application is to upload pictures and or videos of your product, company logo and banner. The banner is another branding opportunity which provides your listing with additional impact. This needs to be a high-res landscape image, and you can see an example here of Bingo Industries banner on this slide. Next, I'll take you through a great example of a product supplier on our iSupply directory. We have contact details for the supplier with hyperlink to Barchip's website and iSupplier profile. It outlines the applicable credits for their service, their product, a short company bio, and a gallery of different images that demonstrates the product itself and the application of the products and projects. It also clearly details their sustainability outcomes. Next, we have a great example of a service supplier on the directory. Similar to a product supplier with contact details, linked website, and ISupply profile, it outlines the applicable credits and their service, and a short company profile. It outlines their sustainability outcomes, and each listing is clearly named and has its own image. Another key feature of the new site is that you can request an amendment to your current listings. If you're already listed on the iSupply directory, you'll need the correct email address associated with your previous iSupply login. If you don't know what this is, please email isupply@iscouncil.org. For those of you who have existing listings on the iSupply directory, please note that there is no longer a self-service login. All of the content is managed by ISC via the online portal. Within the amendment form, you can update your listing, including company logo, product images, and videos and content. Please note that any changes to the content will need to be reviewed by our technical team, and this will be turned around within up to 14 working days. Once we've received your application, our technical team will review and advise if there are any changes required within 14 days. Once the technical team have signed off on your listing and any invoices due have been paid, your listing will go live. We will then send you the link to your live listing for review. Usually our iSuppliers create their own iSupply listings. However, if you do need any assistance with your listing, we do have a paid service available. Pricing for this service can be located in the pricing table on our iSupply website. Thank you very much. And I will now hand you over to the lovely Tyra Momberg, our Principal Technical Advisor.
Thanks, Danielle. Hi, everyone. As Danielle said, I'm the Principal Technical Advisor, and I'm going to be talking you through a more detailed why and how to use iSupply. So to start off with the why and dig a little deeper. So Danielle has already gone through the benefits of having your product or service on the iSupply website, but I just really wanted to reiterate the fact that the website is a place to market your product or service to IS projects undergoing a rating. And in terms of why should you list on iSupply, I personally think this is the best reason and the most valuable aspect for iSuppliers. So IS projects achieve innovation points for selecting and using products or services that are on iSupply. And that's as per Innovation Challenge 4, which is listed on the screen right now, Sustainable Suppliers and iSupply. So projects are actively on the lookout for products or services to use from iSupply because they get additional points in their rating for using these. From a project perspective, it's a win-win situation. If they can find a product or service that can help them on their project, for example, some sort of low carbon material, and then they can get additional points because this product or service is on iSupply, it's a double win for them. I think this should be one of your main selling or talking points when communicating with the industry, the fact that you kind of helping them get double points essentially. And therefore, part of your job when undertaking the iSupply listing is to explain how your product or service can be used in an IS project, i.e. it's up to you to make it attractive, applicable to projects. What do I mean when I say explain how your product or service can be used in an IS project? Essentially what I mean is that it's your responsibility to very clearly and specifically link your product service to the applicable IS credits. This is the crux of my presentation and my message today, and I'll spend the rest of the session explaining better how you can detail these linkages in your listing. These are the steps that detail how to add a listing to iSupply. I'm sure you've seen them all before, but just to be 100% sure, we are all on the same page. Step 1, obviously become either an iSupply member or an ISC member or iSupply subscriber. Step 2, complete the introduction to iSupply training. Step 3, submit your listing through the iSupply website. Step 4, the listing is reviewed and approved. Step 5, listing goes live. And step 6, listings are reviewed and approved annually. As you can see, I've red boxed step 3. I'm going to be focusing most of my the rest of the session talking to the steps within that. Again, as Daniel has detailed before, we have launched our new look website. The first aspect of submitting your listing is to go onto the website and click new listing and fill out all the fields as they appear. As I mentioned before, one of the most important items is filling out the credits that the product links to field. And again, it's red boxed in that slide. This is an example of a company that has done well at linking their service to the applicable credits. As you can see, they reference the specific IS credits, and they talk about how their service can help an IS project towards achieving this credit. Let's look at MAT1 as an example. For a little bit of context, the MAT1 credit looks at the life cycle emissions of the actual project compared to a business as usual base case. And projects achieve points by being better, i.e. having less or lower emissions compared to business as usual scenario. Spending a little bit of time explaining this credit because it's one of the more popular ones that ISupply, and many products and services can help projects achieve or work towards this credit. So back to the example for Mat 1. What they've said Grasshopper Environmental can work with your project to identify and report on waste and material life cycles, and may be able to identify opportunities to reduce the impact on materials. There's two things to notice about this. The first, I think they've done quite well about kind of showcasing their service and saying how it can talk towards credit, but maybe they could actually even have gone a little bit further and been a bit more detailed and specific. Remember, this is your opportunity to really market your service and tie it and show how projects, what you can do. The second thing is the language. They're not promising to achieve any specific number of points. They're just saying they can help identify opportunities. And this is correct from our perspective. No product or service can ever guarantee a certain number of points, because it really depends on how it's used and also how it is evidenced in a submission. This is an example of a company that has not done quite so well at linking their product or service to the applicable credits. They do have some generic words about how they can help an IS rating in general, but they don't have any specific words against the credit that they say they can help with. There's no words against Con 1. So the question is, if you are a project browsing the ISupply website trying to look for things that can help you, what can you get from this? Why would you choose them? And there's nothing selling it to the project. These examples highlight my point that it's critical for you as ISupply to link your product or service to IS credits in a meaningful way, and detail how you can help an IS project with regards to each of these credits. So how do you as ISuppliers learn about these credits to enable you to write these excellent listings that show projects exactly how you can help them? And this is why we have produced the ISupply credit guides. It's for exactly this purpose. They are located on our new website for you to easily download and use. And you can see the location is red boxed in the above slide. And the next few slides are to get you familiar with this product. Thank you. The document is only 8 pages long in total. It is a high-level summary of the intent or description of each credit. And just so you're aware, the full technical manual is about 300 to 400 pages long each. And the intent of this ISupply credit guide is to provide you an overview of each credit, but at the same time not overwhelm you with the technical detail. It's divided into design and as-built version 1.2 credits, and this is about 3 pages long. The version 1.2 design and as-built is the most used existing rating tool in the market at this point. And then the other half of the document is referring to the design and as-built version 2.1 credits. It's also about 3 pages long. And this is the new updated tool, which was launched to the market last year. Cool. The next 3 slides are cut and paste from the ISupply guide to give you a high-level sense of this document. First, an overview of the document layout. It details the credit, the category on the left-hand side, for example, place, leadership and management, sustainable procurement, etc., etc. Then it has the credit name. So the first one there is urban and landscape design. And finally, the credit description, which details the intent of each of these credits. The credits on this page that often feature in ISupply listings are firstly innovation. That's the credit I was talking about before. So innovation challenge 4. And that gives projects additional points for using any product or service that's listed on ISupply. So In reality, every single credit on ISupply should reference back to that and really market and use that to show projects how they can get additional points. Other ones that are very common is probably the energy credits. So under the energy credits, it can be a product or a service. In terms of products, it could be some sort of renewable or energy efficient technology that could be used on a project, or it could be a service. And there are many consultancies out there that offer energy analysis and calculations that can be used with an IS emission. The next slide, please. Thank you. The services associated with environmental credits are often listed on ISupply too. And this ranges from water quality to noise, vibration, air quality, and also light pollution analysis. This typically includes investigation, modeling, monitoring, and reporting. And consultancies that offer all these services are able to kind of add their services to ISupply and then again get the double points associated, additional points associated. The resource efficiency credit, sorry, just one back up, please. The resource efficient credits are also often listed on ISupply. I talked about MAT1 before, so that's the credit that was talking about the life cycle analysis. It's called MAT1 under version 1.2. Under version 2.1, it's now called RS06. And this credit is similar to the energy credit in that there are both products and services that can be associated with this credit. So if it's a product, it could be, for example, the low carbon material that I was using in my previous example. That a company could have some sort of product that they list on ISupply, or it could be a service like the life cycle modeling and analysis of the actual project compared to the base case. Both of those things can be listed on ISupply. Another common credit from here is RS04, Resource Recovery and Management. And again, there are products and services that could be associated with this. It could be ranging from companies that collect and recycle waste streams, or consultancies that undertake waste analysis and reports and provide strategies to reduce waste to landfill, including circularity analysis. Next slide, please. In terms of this one, the most common ones is probably under the heritage credit. So this credit requires an assessment of heritage value and heritage monitoring, and a heritage monitoring system to be in place. And suitably qualified professionals in this space are able to list their services on ISupply. Other common ones are probably some of the workforce credits. These credits require skills, analysis, target setting, well-being programs, employee surveys, diversity and inclusion programs and action plans. And again, consultancies that work in the space are able to provide and list their services on ISupply. Thank you. I guess the last slide before we get into any questions is some maybe golden rules or tips. So hopefully it's come across my key message, which has been to very carefully and in a very specific and detailed way, this is your opportunity to really market your product and get your product out there, is to match your product or service to the applicable IC credits. Another tip is to look at what others have done on ISupply. So look for, if it's maybe people who are your competitors or in a similar space to you, look to see what they've done in terms of their listing, and you can get ideas from that. But please keep in mind, ISupply has been going for quite a long time. So there are also, unfortunately, quite a few bad examples on the website at the moment that we are in the continuous improvement process of fixing. But there still are some bad examples out there. So have a look at what other people have done, but bear in mind, the goal is very much to list as carefully and specifically as possible to the highest credits. Keep it short and sharp. Stick to the facts, focus on what will be important to the ratings partner. This is your opportunity to really kind of market your product and so show how you can be helpful, get noticed, clearly outline the benefits. Absolutely no guarantees regarding points, please. Again, as I was saying before, It really depends on how it's used and how it's evidenced. So you can't make any kind of guarantees in terms of points. And another good tip is to include searchable terminology. That is all from me. Thank you. Now, if there's any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Ty. That was most appreciated. So yes, a couple of questions have come through. Just bear with me a moment. So from Sandra Aduso, I represent Gala New Zealand, which has just become a member. We are an international tunnelling construction company. Our activities include some design as well. We're now in the process of filling the ISupply subscriber application form for the ISV 1.2 rating. As far as the infrastructure sustainability rating summary is concerned, all the named credits apply to us bar 5. As we are not a supplier of a single or few products, but several, is there a simpler way to list our organisation, or do we have to list all the credits?
I can talk to that. I guess it depends on you if you really want to. Our strong recommendation is to list all the credits, and probably to break it down. I think Martin McDonald is maybe quite a good example of that. I was looking at them just yesterday. And what they've done is they've broken down their service offering into, I think, 3 or 4 main categories. And there's a bunch of credits associated with each. But I guess my key point is this is your opportunity to show the market what you do and how it relates to their points. So our really strong recommendation is to list all of them, but at the same time maybe break it down into 3 or 4 separate listings. Into different categories that just make it a bit more manageable when people are reading it, so they can see at a glance what you do and how you can help them.
Thanks, Ty. Another one that's just come in. Why are you guys no longer referencing ISV 2.0?
Right. Oh, sorry. And there was actually just a key point I wanted to mention before. It is version 1.2 is the main tool at the moment, but a lot of projects are shifting towards 2.1. So when you are writing your listing, you must reference both 1.2 plus the 2.1 credits, not just. I heard the previous question say they were only writing a listing for 1.2. I think it does need to be for both. Now, why are we no longer doing version 2.0? It is for a couple of reasons. Firstly, version 2.1 has replaced version 2.0. 2.0 was always a pilot program out there that's now been replaced by the official 2.1 version. And there are a number of projects still registered and still using it, and they are still able to access and benefit from products being on ISupply. But going forward, it doesn't make any sense, as it was just a very contained pilot associated with a number of projects.
Thanks, Ty. We have a question with regards to product or service. Do you have a brief description of either? If we are a company that recycles existing assets and re-engineers them into renewed infrastructure, would this be a service?
I think as it relates to an IS rating, that's probably more product. So typically services, when we talk about services, it always ties back to an IS rating. So like energy modeling is a service, or maybe doing a contamination report would be a service. Whereas we can maybe talk more about this offline, but at first glance, it sounds more like it's a product that you're offering, a kind of refurbished some sort of product.
Thanks, Ty. Another one for you. What is involved with step 4? How are the credit points reviewed and approved?
So it comes through to the technical team, and essentially what we're looking for is identification of credits, and then your explanation of how your product or service ties to that particular credit. We're looking for, I guess, one of the key no's is that it can't make any bold claims about points. I think I've said that a number of times. It can't say anything about guaranteeing achieving a certain number of points. And then what we look at from a technical perspective is how what you've written, does it tie up neatly with that particular credit? Does it seem logical and reasonable? We are not babysitting in the sense that if we're not checking, if you just put a couple of words and have been very high level, we don't come back and say, we suggest you do more. I mean, I'm saying that right now as a general principle, but that's not what the technical review includes. It's just looking at, does what you say connect correctly from a technical perspective with a particular credit, and then also checking that you haven't made any bold or overstated claims about guaranteeing points.
Ty, is there any general guidance for companies that have many variations of their products, e.g. concrete mixes where there are hundreds of variations?
Those can definitely be kind of consolidated into a particular listing. And I might be wrong, but I think bar chip that Daniel showed in one of her examples, I think they had done that. They had a bunch of mixed, and I think they consolidated into one or two listings that spoke, because they had EPDs for a number of products too, and that was all combined under a single listing, or sorry, a few listings. It didn't have a separate listing for every single product.
Thank you. Well, that's all of our questions for today. Thank you, everybody, for getting so involved in the discussion. And please stand by for some of the other developments that are coming through to support you in your involvement with the ISupply online directory and how we can help you to ensure that you're getting the best value from that commitment that you've made. So thank you very much, and we look forward to speaking to you all soon.